The ESPN Daily. Good morning! I really hope this ages better than my tweet about how Maryland football was going to be national title contender by 2019, but I'm going out on a limb and saying J.R. Smith, who is reportedly joining the Lakers, is about to have himself a Ron Artest in the 2010 NBA Finals moment. Okay, here's your ESPN Daily. I don't really know basketball either. Listen up. Cam comeback SZN. I don't know what that means. Just as we all predicted at the end of last season, former Carolina Panthers quarterback and 2015 NFL MVP Cam Newton is signing with the Patriots. After a quiet offseason for New England, many believed the Pats were putting all their stake in Jarrett Stidham to fill the massive void left by Tom Brady at the QB position. But it appears that Bill Belichick has a few tricks left up his sleeve. Now that Newton is en route to Foxborough, many factors point to this being a match made in football heaven. On today's episode of the ESPN Daily Podcast, Bill Barnwell weighs Cam's strengths as a quarterback and what he will bring to Belichick's squad. Things to care about. From the fields of play to the front lines of COVID-19. I am so sick of the term front lines in relation to a fucking virus. Nobody's shooting at you. We're not at war with anybody. This isn't some chemical weapon or biological weapon. It's insufferable. Former college athletes are now in the middle of the COVID-19 panic. Yes, they are. In a variety of roles, including as doctors and nurses. Dr. Michelle Tom, a former Arizona State basketball player who is now a doctor serving the Navajo Nation at the Winslow, Arizona Indian Health Care Center and Little Colorado Medical Center, and Dr. Ryan Paget, a former offensive lineman at Northwestern, who is now a doctor at Evergreen Health in Kirkland, Washington, shared their stories with senior writer Mark Schlabach. We're continuing on with this. Schlabach spoke to ESPN Daily about his reporting. Daily. What were Tom's and Paget's general feelings from the front lines? Oh, there it is again. Schlabach. I think it has been a frightening experience for both of them. Dr. Paget was in a medically induced coma for 17 days and came within about 24 to 48 hours of dying, according to his doctors. He worked at a hospital that was one of the first coronavirus hotspots after it admitted patients from the Life Care Center nursing home in Kirkland, Washington. He and his colleagues were dealing with a disease they'd never encountered before. Dr. Tom continues to face an uphill battle because of his hospital's limited resources and because of her, Dr. Tom, because of her hospital's limited resources and personnel. And the Navajo Nation has been hit especially hard by the coronavirus panic. Plus, of course, Arizona is battling the panic with another surge of cases in the state. Daily. What struck you about Dr. Tom's situation working near Navajo Nation? Schlabach. According to Dr. Tom, her hospital was underfunded and undermanned even before the coronavirus panic. It's a nonprofit hospital that serves about 30,000 people in the Navajo Nation. It doesn't have a single ICU room and has only 2 ventilators. There are only 2 ambulances. She works 24-hour shifts on Sundays. Navajo Nation residents are scattered across more than 17 million acres, and there aren't a sufficient number of medical facilities in or near the area to serve them. Many of the homes on the Navajo Nation don't have running water to wash hands frequently, and some don't have power to keep up with medical alerts on TV or the internet. The most striking thing to me about Dr. Tom was her sincere connection to her people, home, and heritage, and her ardent desire to help them, especially the elderly. She believes it's her duty to serve her community. Well, that sounds like a really fucked up situation, and it sucks for them generally. But if they're so isolated from everything, how have they been hit especially hard with the virus? Just curious. Daily. How did their backgrounds as athletes help them in this crisis? Schlabach. Dr. Paget played football at Northwestern and was a starting offensive lineman in the 1995 team that won a Big Ten title and played USC in the Rose Bowl. Northwestern wasn't very good when he got there. To get to the Rose Bowl was a remarkable achievement, especially for a squad that didn't have a lot of star power. It was the result of teamwork and hard work, and he believes the same teamwork kept him alive after he was stricken with COVID-19. Without a dedicated team of doctors, nurses, and other hospital personnel who refused to give up when things looked very bad, he wouldn't be here today. He called his survival a team victory. Daily, what will stay with you after reporting this story? Schlabach. When Dr. Paget was admitted to the hospital, he was given an opportunity to say goodbye to his fiancée. Once he went to the ICU, doctors told her that Paget would probably spend 2 or 3 months in the hospital and then be transferred to a nursing home for rehabilitation. She canceled their wedding. Dr. Paget survived, and they were married 2 weeks after his release from the hospital. How nice. Notice how they send people to nursing home for rehabilitation. That seems weird. Is J.R. Smith the answer for the Lakers? J.R. Smith is reportedly joining the Los Angeles Lakers in the bubble to replace Avery Bradley, who is among the players opting out of the NBA restart in Orlando, Florida. Coward. What could possibly go wrong? Narrator. Many, many things could go wrong. On the flip side, there is something oddly comforting about Smith reuniting with LeBron James. While many people are quick to recall JR's enormous gaffe in Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals, I prefer to dwell on the duo's 2016 NBA Championship run and JR's subsequent, seemingly endless run of shirtless public appearances. Simpler times, man. Now that we're finished basking in the glow of nostalgia, let's talk about the more pressing matters, namely, what can J.R. Smith, who is 4th all-time in three-pointers made in the NBA Finals, contribute to the top team in the Western Conference? According to Kevin Pelton, the Lakers shouldn't be counting on Smith as anything more than a depth player during the seeding games that won't be especially meaningful to them, and a possible wild card to throw in when things are going poorly in the playoffs. If J.R. Smith is expected to be a wild card, this union should work out swimmingly. Things to watch. Cause for concern in Major League Baseball? On Monday, the Colorado Rockies' Ian Desmond, the Arizona Diamondbacks' Mike Leake, and the Washington Nationals' Ryan Zimmerman and Joe Ross announced that they are opting out of the 2020 season. Cowards. The COVID-19 panic has made this baseball season one that is a risk I am not comfortable taking. Desmond wrote at the end of a lengthy post on Instagram that touched on race and opportunities for youth baseball players. Okay. After a great deal of thought, and given my family's circumstances, 3 young children including a newborn and a mother at high risk, I have decided not to participate in the 2020 season, Zimmerman said in a statement. Should MLB be concerned that these 4 players will start a trend of sitting out? Perhaps. ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan joined Scott Van Pelt to discuss why he doesn't foresee a multitude of players choosing to skip the season, but why the decision of one big-name player could be all it takes to start a domino effect. There's got to be some that want the money. They spent so much time haggling over the money. Surely most of them actually want the money. Overheard. At the end of the day, in the famous words of Nipsey, the marathon continues. Cam Newton in a video addressing his fans. Remember when? Long live NBA free agency. On this date in 2000-something, the association went wild. We learned that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were headed to the Brooklyn Nets. Jimmy Butler was taking his talents to South Beach, and D'Angelo Russell was going to the Bay, among other notable moves. Until next time, remember, if you haven't had a chance to read Ian Desmond's powerful and poignant Instagram message reflecting on the state of MLB and highlighting the need for change, I highly recommend you check it out. This has been your ESPN Daily for Tuesday, June 30th, 2020. Not in the mood for a lecture from a baseball player. Thanks, though.